Hello everyone, I'm RecV5,
And I am Sandman99.
and welcome back to the Magicians franchise, Year 1, Preseason Week 2.
Yes, and we're coming off a big win in preseason week 1 over the Hawks, much to our surprise. It was a closer game than the score would indicate, I think, but we did win that one 27-17.
Yep.
And in that game, actually, I got a fumble by my quarterback. I went back to pass, and I tried to pass, and the ball came out. They called it a fumble. So now we're going to have to pause because I forgot to load up that replay.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I wanted to show another replay just for comparison's sake. So
All right.
We'll pause for a moment here.
And we're back with the replay.
Yes, and I want to focus in particularly on number 18 there and watch very closely. Because this is a long yardage situation. I think it's third down and close to 20 or something. So I put out the monster defense with the dime version. So I've got 6 defensive backs and 5 defensive linemen.
Yep.
And this has proven to be a very successful pass rushing method when I'm absolutely sure that they're going to pass. Especially if they don't have a tight end. You know, that they can switch back and forth to try and mess up the pass rush, right?
Yep.
So anyway, we'll get started here, and here we go. And I'm controlling the defensive tackle there outlined in green, and my job is to engage the offensive tackle, which I do. And here comes the defensive end around, and the quarterback doesn't see him coming. And look at this now very closely. The ball, he's basically patting the ball, right? You know what I mean? Like how sometimes the quarterback, when he wants to throw but he hesitates, he'll move his arm forward and then stop the ball with his other hand.
Yep.
And the ball comes out, and of course the defensive end picks up the ball and runs it into the end zone. And this fumble got challenged and overturned. Right? I don't know how you can overturn this, because that is obviously a fumble. Right?
Yeah, he's not trying to throw it. He's not trying to get rid of it. His arm's really not moving forward.
Well, basically,
really.
he was patting the ball, right? You know what I mean? Like
It's a total reversal of the throw motion, not a.
That's right. It was like he did a pump fake, right? And then he got hit right after doing the pump fake. But he certainly wasn't attempting to throw the ball there. The ball just came out. But for some reason, they overturned that fumble. And if people watched our first Magicians game, well, the fumble that was called against me wasn't even close, right?
Yep.
I mean, you know, I could see in that one, my quarterback's arm was actually going forward when the ball came out, and they still called it a fumble.
Well, see, what it is number 12 here just doesn't like you very much.
I guess not. But anyway, that was a very bad call, and it was reviewed. And it was, you know, like, I guess it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter sometimes. You can review something, and you can still get a bad call even on a play that's reviewed. So, you know, and this one here, I was happy. I had just scored a defensive touchdown, and then it was taken away. So, anyway, we'll move on to the game now, but I wanted to show that just because I remembered from preseason week 1 that fumble, and I'm still smarting about that one. Anyway,
all right.
Here we go.
Okay, and now we're finally back in the franchise here.
Yep. I guess we're going to play week 2. And we are up against the Minnesota Nords.
Oh, this should be an easier game anyways.
Yeah, this should be an easier game because on paper they're just as bad as we are. So, you know, if we manage somehow to beat a much better team than us last week, and so hopefully this time around we'll be able to have a little bit easier time. And of course, I've been tinkering and practicing and all that kind of stuff too, so I should be really sharp today.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I have done absolutely nothing whatsoever since the last game.
Oh, well, that's okay, because you've got it all under control here anyways.
I think you give me too much credit.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that quarterback fumble that I was talking about led to one of their touchdowns, right? Because it happened to be in our end of the field that happened too. And as I recall, I didn't even challenge it because I don't think you can even challenge those, right?
No, I don't think you can.
You know, like it's, you know.
Well, I guess you can sometimes, but in that case you couldn't. Maybe, I don't remember when it happened in the game. Maybe that was why.
Yeah.
We'd have to go back and watch game 1 again.
Well, I think that I didn't challenge it simply because I thought that I would lose the challenge because I was standing upright when the ball came loose, right?
I'll tell you what, this guy could put up some big numbers through the air if that defense doesn't put some pressure on him.
Well, these guys must have some nostalgia for you.
If he gets a lot of time in the pocket. But it's not just him they got.
Yeah, I've got a few seasons with these guys too. And actually, some of their original players, this wide receiver is actually a pretty good player. And their defensive ends both are pretty good players too. They actually have a decent defensive line. You know, like right from year 1 Cupcake, right? That seems to be the strong point of their team. But they do have a fairly good wide receiver there too. And their quarterback isn't too bad, and if I remember right, I think he's got a little bit of mobility too, right? Yeah, so he can scramble around a little bit when he needs to. And they've got basically a power halfback, right? So nobody that's going to win any races. And their backup is actually better than usual for a second string halfback.
Yep.
So, you know, he's pretty close to being the same kind of player as the starter. And they have a pretty good fullback, actually, for a Cupcake team. And then they have Mr. Jackson there with 87 speed, and they actually do have a bit of speed at wide receiver. Their wide receiver 3 has got a little speed too.
Yeah, they're actually kind of built a lot like the Crusaders.
Yeah. Yeah, they're more offense oriented, I guess. They have a decent tight end. Their offensive line is a mess. But they do have, you know, like they've got John Stone here at left end, who is a you know, like fairly decent player because he's got a decent amount of speed, so for pass rushing. And they've got Jimmy Snell at the right end position, and he's also, you know, just about the same kind of player, right? And at defensive tackle, well, you know, like they've got some scrubs there that are not really too good. And their linebacking group is actually not too bad, at least the outside guys. They've got a little bit of quickness. The middle guys are not great.
You know what? Edwards was about that slow.
Yeah. And they don't have very much speed in the secondary at all. You know, they've got slow corners and fairly slow safeties as well. So, there you go.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Edwards was the middle linebacker in our Crusaders franchise, and the guy has like 62 speed, but he plays amazingly because he has like 99 awareness.
Yes, however, for the most of the first season, he was a terrible player. Right?
Yeah, but when he got into the playoffs, he already had his awareness cranked right up because he couldn't improve at anything else. So then he made like all these amazing plays against all these Madden teams, and he just totally shut them down, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
So sometimes a garbage player can actually be a good asset if you invest some time into them.
Well, we already know that. Look at Danny Jones.
Oh,
right?
God.
Danny Jones has made even though he's a mediocre player, or no matter what position you put him in, on paper, he's made the Pro Bowl like 5 times or 4 times.
To be fair, though, he's a mediocre player in almost every position you put him in. which is something you can't say for most players.
Yeah, that's true. He's very versatile in his mediocrity. Yeah, he's made the Pro Bowl as a nickel corner, and he's made the Pro Bowl as a free safety, and he's well on his way to making the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver now.
Somehow.
The home team are lined up for the kickoff.
Not only that, but I think he missed the Pro Bowl one season when you were on defense. But he made the Pro Bowl like 3 times in the first 4 seasons of the Crusaders.
Yeah, well, I tend to focus a little more on the linebackers anyways, so...
Well, the safeties in your defense also are not active, right?
That's right. Yeah, no, I only use them
they
for...
They more or less play deep zone, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a job description.
Whereas sometimes I'll move them up closer to the line and, you know, maybe play them like a kind of like a hybrid linebacker type deal. Because while I don't play any 46, because I think that formation is awful in this game, I do still play kind of like a 4-4 almost, quite a bit.
Yep. I guess I'll say one of the things I also noticed about this compared to our other franchises, we actually have the Madden wide camera versus the standard Madden camera.
Yeah. Well, is that a future superstar there, or what?
I'm hoping that Freeborg will be, yes. That's why we put him in that position. I think we moved him in there from the middle linebacker position.
Meaning the utterly movable object.
Back in the shotgun. Closing in. Gets rid of it.
And that's why you drop that defensive end back into the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. My defenses look somewhat different than yours, but I still do that too.
So 3 and out, and they'll line up to
Simply because those passes out to about 15 yards over the middle, that guy does a lot to disrupt those, right?
To return this one. And they're ready to go.
Even if all he's there to do is make the tackle, you know?
Yeah, well, he usually, if a wide receiver gets hit by a defensive end, they tend to drop the ball, so...
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's try our luck here.
Give it to the halfback. Van makes the tackle at the 46. Pickup of about 7. They have to reach the 44 to convert.
Unfortunately, I don't think the Nords are going to put up much of a fight here. Oh, wow. Okay, let's do this.
They've got a solution to stop the run, and only a solution to stop the run.
I don't know, personally, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't recall anybody ever lining up like that, unless it's like 3rd down and inches or something, and they're totally expecting a run, right?
1st and 10.
You know, like that's a short yardage technique. I don't know why they would be doing that in anything other than a short yardage situation.
Going to the air on 1st down. Throwing on the run.
Oh, well, he was open, but he dropped it.
He just couldn't handle it.
Which is too bad, because he actually has, I think, one of the better catching ratings out of any of your other running backs.
Yeah, I know, but I think pretty well everybody here is going to be garbage at catching for the first, 9 games in the regular season. See, they play so many players close to the line all the time, right?
Throws it. He has some room. And it's complete. Lewis records the tackle at the 29-yard line.
Well, Hutchinson is a reliable pair of hands.
That's what can happen if the pass is on time and on target.
5th play of this drive. They're within striking distance here. Gaffney with a man in motion. Dig in. With the pass.
Oh.
Find a way to keep possession. Pretty good pass, but that's incomplete.
The offensive coordinator called a good play. And the quarterback threw him a catch.
Well, you know what?
Couldn't get his hands in the proper position to make the catch.
We're going to go for it. We're too far away to kick a field goal with the kicker we've got. And I don't really see the point in punting from here, so going to go for it. See if we can get a first down.
Surveying the field. Gets rid of
Yeah.
He's at the 20. He's inside the 10.
Almost got a touchdown there.
See, I'm going to bitch about this again, right? Not, you know, I benefited from this, but why play man lock all the time, right?
Well, I do.
Well, I don't. And one of the reasons that I don't is because if the corner, even if he has man coverage on this guy, if the corner is standing out here, then I can't throw that pass. You know what I mean?
Well, see, what I tend to do, though, is I tend to play the man lock, but to compensate for that, I play a flat zone underneath, right?
Yeah.
To cover up those flat passes.
Yeah, but these guys don't have the ability to do that.
No. Well,
Right.
sometimes they audible to it. You see it very rarely, but...
Yeah, but still, you know, like, actually, that's something I've been doing a lot of lately in my practice games. I'm playing a 4-3, basically. You know, like the out-of-the-box 4-3 formation. But what I'm doing is I'm spreading the linebackers wide, and one of the linebackers is always blitzing, like one of the outside linebackers.
Yep.
And I use the defensive end either in a zone in the middle, or I actually will even give him a man-to-man coverage assignment, and he'll pick the closest either a tight end or running back to cover, right? And I mean, he's not a great coverage guy, but, you know, whatever, right? And I leave the corners out wide so that it contains those, you know, like long or outside plays, right? It takes away those quick outs and the flat passes and the swing passes and that kind of stuff just by having those cornerbacks playing deep up or playing wide out there, right?
Looks like he's changing the play.
Yeah, mostly the only reason I man lock is because I don't want them to lose a step on those faster receivers. Because I don't want to rely on my zone guys so heavily.
Yeah.
The defense just seemed to lose track of him down there. They have to do a better job keeping the play in front of him so that kind of thing doesn't happen.
So that's what I've been doing, and basically I'll also, in that 4-3, I'm blitzing the outside linebacker, and I can reverse that play, of course.
Yep.
Since it's the out-of-the-box 4-3 formation. And I'll blitz the outside linebacker and create pressure that way. And use the defensive line to tie up the offensive line from the center over to the side that the linebacker's blitzing from.
Yep.
And just play man under two and back everybody up, right? And you know what? If they are going to gain yardage on the ground, they might gain 5, 6, 7 yards, but they rarely...
Penalty marker down on the field.
Looks like they got a holding penalty.
Okay. They rarely ever get more than that. And because I'm playing the corners and safeties off a little bit in a cushion, you know, like they can throw short passes in front of that coverage fairly easily too, but I very rarely give up a long pass, right?
Going to the air on first down. Pressure coming.
Wow.
Nice. I think that was a sack by Tiki Love there. Oh, no, that was a sack by Fisher.
Yeah.
But he still went down.
He definitely had enough time to release the
What were you
ball.
doing? Playing your 2-5 or 2-4-5 there? Or?
Nope, I was just playing my 3-3-5 here.
Ah, okay. Yeah, the defensive end just found his way through there, right?
That's right, yep.
The quarterback gets set with only
Somehow.
one back behind him.
Probably because you're up against a poor offensive line. Like I said, their offensive line is a mess, right?
Incomplete. Pretty good coverage downfield as the pass falls incomplete.
He had some room up in front
I think that
of
was
him.
an attempt at one of those hook outs.
Maybe he should have done that.
Could have been, but he threw it a little early.
Pressure, throwing.
See? Defensive end. Oh no, that wasn't the defensive end that time. That was number 40 whoever, but...
Number 42.
Yeah. I guess we still got the good old pass defense. We're starting this franchise with the good old pass defense methodology.
Yeah.
Here's the kick. From the 46. Well, not a bad return. It's time to see what the offense...
Yeah, Edwards is actually our first-string wide receiver, if I recall, so he's also our special teams guy. Gotta be careful not to get him hurt.
Yeah, well, when you have as little depth as you start off with a cupcake franchise brand new, then you don't really have very many options for special teams, right?
Hand off to the tailback. Van takes him down at the 37.
Well, the main thing, too, is just making sure that he doesn't get hurt so that we don't have a guy who replaces him in there muffing punts and kickoffs.
That's true. You don't need mishandle on special teams.
Because I think we could probably do without him on offense.
I'm going to try and throw a screen pass here. What do you think?
Sure, why not?
Drops back, looking for an option. Gets rid of it. Swing pass to the running back on the left.
It looks like it worked okay.
Yep. He even got a first down out of it.
Yeah, I did.
He can really fire it in there when he needs to.
Yeah, let's have a look at that again, hey? Yeah, look at that. Set up nicely. See, this guy here is the tight end who's going out. He sort of got a block, I guess.
Let's get back to the play on the
Yeah,
field.
well, sort of was all you needed.
Yep, sort of is all you needed.
So they have 1st and 10 here.
Actually, I'm shocked that I actually have the screen pass that worked.
Okay, you set up a traditional screen pass that actually works.
Yeah. Well, I tried doing other things in the backfield, but the only thing that really works... wow. The only thing that really works is you have to have that halfback like do a curl at the end of it. You can manually draw the screen assignment, but he has to stop and turn around. Otherwise, he won't catch the ball. You'll hit him in the back with it, or overthrow it, or all manner of other
weird, bizarre things.
Yeah, unfortunate things, right? But you won't get him to catch it most of the time.
Dropping back with the throw. Perfect.
Well, he caught that one.
He shakes the defender.
Yeah, and he...
Oh,
no!
Shit! Oh, well, okay. Well, let's see if we can challenge this one. Why not?
I thought he might challenge this one. Sure enough, it'll be reviewed.
The call in the field is questionable. They might decide that they made an incorrect call and reverse it.
I thought he was
I think they'll overturn that. I think he was already down.
Yep.
Because I was hitting the ball cover button too, right?
So it's inconclusive. The call will stand since he needs to be 100%.
There you go.
Okay, they overturned it.
So the coach looks a lot smarter after getting the play reversed in his team's favor.
It didn't hurt that the official had some great replays to look at. They made it easy to overrule.
6 yards away from a touchdown.
There. It wasn't a fumble after all.
Changing the play now. Edwards comes in motion. Hands off to the tailback.
Well, that worked.
Yeah, well, I needed that wide receiver over there to block the corner, right?
Yeah, or else that run was just going to get stuffed.
Yeah, otherwise the corner would have come in there and stuffed it.
They'll get set for the extra point. The kick is up. The point answer is good.
Well, I think this one's probably going to be a rout. Because I think even with the enhanced sliders, I think that
a cupcake team is still a cupcake team.
Yep, that's right. A cupcake team is still a cupcake team. They're still going to do bad things.
And they're still going to suck.
And they're still going to suck. And they're still going to get blown out. I think that the result that we got in the first exhibition game was probably
a bit more typical.
A bit more typical, and maybe even better than what I expected, because we did get a couple of lucky breaks in that game too. You know, like timely fumbles that went our way and that kind of thing.
Well, we need these cupcake games, though, in order to boost our stats.
Yeah. Wow. So the defender missed the pass, and then the receiver dropped it.
It's typical cupcake league football out there. You know, seeing things like that almost makes me want to start a league where every team is a cupcake team, just so that we can laugh at it.
Yeah, but we wouldn't, you know, play then, right? Like,
no, we'd have to run it in, like, coach mode or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Call the plays and call the audibles, but not actually control the players.
Give your receivers a chance to make the play. You just can't take a sack in a situation like that.
Closing in, throwing. He hits his receiver.
Oh, there. That's that wide receiver one there, right?
You know, there was lots of guys over there, over the middle there, but none of them actually managed to get their hands on that.
Yeah, that guy is actually a good enough player that with my Nords league, he's still the #1 wide receiver on that team after like 4 seasons, right?
Pass play here on first down. Pressure coming. Incomplete.
I think he saw him coming there and just got rid of that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
5th play of this drive. Loosening up the coverage on the outside. Number 84, the motion man. Looking upfield.
Oh, I even cut back in there.
Yeah, but he reversed his field.
That'll drive you nuts.
Yep.
The unstoppable force won that one.
Well, Vargas is not a bad running back. I mean, he's kind of like that, you know, what we keep referring to Anthony Gaines type of running back, right?
Yeah, from the Lifers.
Yep. Yeah, basically he's a power back, right?
He picked up just enough. The visiting team find a way to convert the 3rd and long.
And he can catch a little bit too.
Al, what the hell are you talking about, 3rd and long?
Yeah, but he isn't going to win any races, right?
It must be one of those things where, like, the game sees the amount of distance left between the first down marker and, like, the line of scrimmage, and it ends up with some sort of weird mathematical divide by 0 error or something.
I don't know. Oh, there's Jackson again.
You know, that time I was playing the deep zone above him.
Yeah, and he caught it in front of you.
Yeah.
They're getting it done by seeing the whole field and taking what the defense gives them.
Well, we'll see if they suffer from some cupcake team-itis here, because that's what I've noticed too sometimes, is that they can move the ball a little bit, but then once they get to about the 30-yard line or thereabouts, they stall, right? We'll have to see if they can sustain it here.
The quarterback gets set with only 1 back behind him.
I can see something going wrong for them here right now.
Drops back. Under pressure. Throwing.
Oh, there, Ulrich, he's the #2 guy.
Yeah, he actually just completely beat the man coverage guy that was on him.
Yeah, well, he's very slow, but he also is got decent agility and acceleration, so he can go from 0 to slow instantly, right? And he can also slow. Well, he can also make abrupt direction changes and that kind of thing.
He's at the 20. Brought down by the last.
So he's a shifty route runner, right? Wow. They're still going.
Yeah, they're taking a hell of a lot of plays to do it, but
yeah, usually they break down before they get to this point, so maybe the enhanced slider set is helping them a little to keep them going.
Pass play here on first down. Gets rid of it, and he hits his
Oh,
target.
there's the tight end.
Stops him at the 12-yard line. Phillips, it's about a 3-yard pickup for him. They're 12 yards away from the end zone. The quarterback lines up with 2 backs behind him. Toss play to the right.
Well, that's not going anywhere.
Nope.
Couldn't get out of the backfield.
That was just a defensive line getting.
See, the last toss play, he actually stopped and cut it up the middle, right? This time around, he didn't do that. Yep. Okay, well, they stalled. It was bound to happen, right?
Well, they'll get a field goal out of this, though. The cupcake kickers can kick the ball this far.
I don't know. That remains to be seen.
If only we could have pushed him 10 yards further back.
Well, he hasn't got it through the uprights yet. And the kickers on this team is not good.
Will be a 37-yard attempt.
Oh my God! That was terrible.
See? I told you, he hasn't got it through the uprights yet.
Oh my God, that was the worst kick I've ever seen the AI make. They never make a kick that bad.
Wow, wasn't that something? Like I said, it's the cupcake factor, right? Something will go wrong eventually if you force them to take long enough, right?
Yeah, wow.
Didn't have much room to do anything with that one.
Yeah, they had the coverage and they made the sure play instead of trying something fancy, like going for the pick.
However, they will have decent time of possession out of this, right?
Yeah, well, that was an absolutely tremendous drive.
Yeah, unfortunately, they broke down eventually, right?
With the throw, goes down and gets it. Number 43 makes the tackle.
I don't even know how many plays they ran on that drive, but it was a lot.
Yeah, they did. They ran a lot of plays, but
1st and 10.
Unfortunately, things went wrong eventually, right? I don't know. He would have missed that from the 10-yard line. Like, wow. That was really, really off.
We're just having them play ball control for us.
Yeah.
Johnson. Van brings him down at the 48. Good game there.
See, this is a delay, right? See that?
Yep.
And my pulling lineman there, actually, the guard here, he did a good job. Got out there and picked off that corner.
So let's pick up the action. So they have 1st and 10 here.
Game I was playing today was with the Lifers. And I was playing against the Stingers. And Al was talking about how well the Stingers defended the run in that game. And it's like, yeah, Al, at the end of the game, I had like 42 yards rushing.
Oh, God.
But I also had 400 yards passing.
I guess he was just trying to be charitable.
I guess so. But, you know, that's what happens, though, right? They were playing like 10 guys on the line almost constantly. You know?
Well, I guess you're gonna defend the run well if you have 10 guys in the box.
Yeah. And doing it at wildly inappropriate moments, too, right? Like 2nd down and 12 or something, because
they might call a run play.
Because I, lost a couple of yards on 1st down on a rushing attempt, right?
Gaffney doing an excellent job on this drive.
Things are really slowing down for him right now. He's seeing the coverage and finding the open man with ease.
Well, so far, so good.
Kind of rhythm out there.
Changing the play now.
See if we can pick up a couple yards before that corner closes in on me this time.
They give it to the halfback.
Oh, look at that. The fullback got him.
Records the tackle at the 30. Gain of 9 on the play. They have to reach the 30 to convert. Looks like he's calling an audible. He sees something in the defense.
I guess I'll run through the gap that doesn't have a linebacker standing right on the other side, right?
Shields.
I guess so.
26. Shields gets about 5 yards and the first.
Nothing fancy either. He just goes right at the defense to move those chains.
Looks like he's changing the play. Tola. He's at the 20. Vance with the tackle at the 13. They've got the defense off balance. It's another first down.
You know, this defense has tried everything. Man coverage, a blitz, the zones, 6 defensive backs, 7 defensive backs. They've really mixed up their defenses and their coverages. And the offense has taken advantage of it.
Well, they got both the line and the linebackers leaning in the opposite direction here, so.
They'll get the call again. Diving tackle at the 4.
When you have a back that can average more than 5 or 6 yards a carry,
I guess we'll pad the rushing yardage today, hey?
Apparently.
4 more yards to finish off the drive with a touchdown.
Well, they're just helping you play ball control, right?
Yeah, I
They
guess
know
so.
they know it's not quite your forte, so they also pitched in a little bit in quarter 1.
Actually, I play excellent ball control.
Hand it off to the fullback.
It's just that my ball control ends up consists mainly of throwing short
Bill
passes.
Lyman did a heck of a job of just driving back that line. When you win that battle,
Right?
it's tough to stop him when you only need a
Because that's
couple
why I
yards.
called this particular offensive playbook control, right? Because
Yep.
I'm placing a lot less emphasis on like
Long bombs?
throwing long bombs and
See something in the
more
defense.
on the short passes that'll flood out zones
Calling an
and
audible.
stuff like that. Mainly because I was anticipating playing a season with this team, which is not terribly talented, right?
Well, I guess you get to try that one a couple more times.
I guess I get to try that one a couple more times now.
Hold for a hold. 11th play of this drive. Gaffney sends a man in motion.
Yeah, we'll throw a pass.
Looking downfield with the pass, and the catch is made. No trouble making that catch.
There, we got some of it back.
Always looking for a soft coverage or a hole
Yeah,
in the
now it's as
zone
if you
so they can break
ran for
free
a
and wait
loss
for the pass
on
to get
first
through.
down,
Yeah.
which is
4
typical.
yards and they'll put up 6. Johnson goes in motion.
See, they're playing the way I would play now, right?
Surveying the field. Gets
Oh,
the
shit,
pass
I
off.
pressed the wrong button.
Reynolds was working in the middle.
Like they played that the way I would have played it. Like they kept the corners out wide,
Great
Yeah.
for the offense.
and that actually takes away a lot of my passing game because I rely on them like making those mistakes, right?
Yep.
And this is the
You know,
13th play of this
bringing the corners in and stuff like that. Or in this case here,
Visiting team.
if I can get this guy to
Nickel
move.
back. Gaffney
Playing man
sends a
lock,
man
and
in
now I
motion.
got man coverage on trailer there.
He surveys the field. Throws
Except then you got the overthrow.
I got the overthrow, but if you look at it, though, he did beat his coverage, right?
Yep.
You see that? He totally beat the coverage. He was wide open. It's just that there's a little quarterback accuracy issue there, right?
Well, it'll get a little better after preseason.
It'll get better eventually, yeah. Although you still see those overthrown every now and then.
Yeah, even with a 100 or 99 accuracy quarterback like Bo Jenkins.
Yeah, and that's because you do have to lead those toward the outside a little bit too, because if you try to throw that right at the receiver, then it can
The defender will tend to cut across.
It can be dangerous because the defender can jump behind the receiver and get in the path of the ball, right? And when you lead it to the outside, well, sometimes you're going to overthrow it. It's just how it is.
Yeah, because usually the receiver has to lean in order to catch those, right?
Yeah. Yeah, usually he has to reach for it or, otherwise make an exceptional move in order to reach out and catch it, right?
Quickly as they start this drive at the 24.
Well, we're going to stick to the good old standard scheme here because they haven't actually done anything to make me want to change from it yet.
No. Well, they did hang on to the ball for a long time, and there's a suction block there on number 99.
Ah, that's okay.
But it didn't buy him anything anyway.
They got there and shut that play down very quickly. That's just a case of studying game film this week.
You know what? They could have totally taken this series in a completely different direction, right? Wow.
Wow, don't roll to the side that Fribourg is coming from, man. Like, that's just a bad idea. Why did you do that?
Yeah. But you know what? They could have instead of going in the direction that they went, because like I was watching Ryan Moody last night. Wow. And by the sounds of it, Madden 26 is probably going to be going much in the same direction that Madden 25 went.
Yeah, it's all shovelware.
And what they could have done if they'd have had this game as a foundation,
as a template,
is they could have just gradually made improvements on what they already had.
Because what they already had was great.
Here's the punt.
Wow, that was so short, I actually have to call a fair catch.
Yeah.
Even though those guys are so slow.
Yeah, well, he hung it up there for a long time, right?
It's 1st and 10.
Wow, we might score again here before the half, maybe.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting to sack them twice in a row, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, they ended up in a pretty deep hole after that.
Yeah, that first one was just funny. He just rolled right into Fribourg's arms there.
Uh-oh.
That's okay, he dropped it anyway.
Yeah, they got through and just about sacked me there.
Short pass, and it's 2nd down.
Meanwhile, the fans are watching, they're like, this is some of the worst football we've ever seen.
Yeah, but you know what? you look at that graphic there, and I mean, yeah, there's been a couple of drops, but I'm still 10 of 16 right now. I've only completed about 2/3 of my passes, right?
Dropping back. Throws it. He hits his receiver. Diving tackle.
Yeah, go Johnson.
He was on the receiving
Got 6 yards on that.
Soft hands like that are hard to find. This guy looks like he's a keeper.
Well, we'll call the tight end flat thing again here, because if they play a zone, then I can probably throw it to Hutchinson, and if they go man lock, I can always audible to the curls play, right?
Yep.
But it looks like they're going to play a zone here, so.
Looking for an option, passing right.
And Hutchinson won't drop it because he's got like 80-something catching.
Watch it here. This is a great call on 3rd down to keep this drive.
Yeah, he's not very fast, but he probably has the best hands on the offense.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about cupcake tight ends, is they all tend to be really slow, but they all tend to have really good hands. And really, I found that I lean a lot on those tight ends, too.
Well, that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. Wow, is that ever that's a nickel back out there, I think.
Johnson.
But it looks like the tight end went up there and got him.
Yep.
He's showing good patience
and blocked him like 10 yards downfield.
Yeah, that's good.
Actually, isn't that tight end that blocked him the slow tight end, who's really good at blocking?
Yeah.
Sometimes if that tight end is too slow, we tend to convert that guy to fullback, but on this team, he's got just enough speed to catch passes.
Actually, the tight end 2 on the Leopards, because I've played through an entire season with him, is going to the Pro Bowl.
Wow.
He has 49 speed, but he is ended up 2nd on the team in catches and had about 600 yards of like receiving yards on the season, right? And that was, and about, I don't know, 7 or 8 touchdowns or something like that too, right?
Yeah, like he's got bricks in his pants, but he can catch.
Yeah, and, you know, like I was running this playbook. And even if you audible to a play like this where he's lines up in the left slot or something, you can rely on him to catch that short pass when you throw it to him, right?
Dropping back.
Yeah, you see, they go, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning can beat his 40 time, but neither of them can catch like he can.
Nope.
8 yards to the goal line. 7th play of this drive. And we've reached the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Calling an audible.
Yeah, maybe we'll audible that guy to be an extra blocker this time, since they almost got through and sacked me when they were lined up like this before.
Throwing left.
But see, that's the hazards, right? And this play specifically is why when I play a 4-3, I leave the corners out wide. Because the AI does have equivalents of this pattern in their playbooks too, right?
Yeah, out of the box.
And a defender lined up straight across from him in man coverage cannot stop this, right? 9 times out of 10, even if he's an exceptional player like an all Madden player, he still can't stop this, right? He just
Because he
can't.
starts in a disadvantageous position
That's
on his
right.
own. He needs assistance in order to stop
It's
it.
the same thing as if I had like a spread formation to clear these guys all out in the middle. And if I had this player lined up wider and I gave him a drag route, well, the guy lined up directly across from him is not going to be the guy that defends that pass or makes the tackle, right? It's going to be somebody in the middle that was already there.
Yeah, well, the thing about the man lock thing is it's really meant to defend against the deeper passes, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess what they could do is they could call jam coverage and try to jam the crap out of that guy.
Yeah, that's the only way. Actually, that is the only technique that is effective against that. And the other thing that is somewhat effective against it is if they have either a linebacker or a defensive end
Going out the flat.
play a flat.
Yep.
But when you start doing that, you know, like sending an extra guy to the flat in addition to the man coverage, well, that's what opens up the deeper passes too, right?
Or at least can.
Because suddenly now they've got nobody, like no safeties deep or something like that, because they're allocating those extra coverage guys to cover the flats, right? I don't know. I just think that man lock is okay sometimes, but you need to be somewhat selective about how you use it. And if you use it against bunch formations and things like that, I think that's just a bad idea. Because,
I'm a big fan of man lock. I like, even here I just man locked.
yeah, but this is different because this is not a bunch formation, so you're not going to get hurt by a quick pass toward the flat, right?
Well, and also in most situations I always have a guy going out to the flat.
Yeah.
Throws it right to him.
But one of the things that man lock is vulnerable to is this play, right?
Yeah, well, the short crossing routes over the middle and things like that.
Yeah.
Especially because I run that deep zone over the middle instead of running a short zone over the middle.
Yeah.
Which is why in some of my schemes you'll see that short zone over the middle instead, but not in a pure man under 3 scheme like this.
Closing in with the pass.
Yeah, see, crossing routes underneath, right?
Lloyd takes him down at the
But that's okay though,
43-yard
because they
line.
can go ahead and they can take those, because it's going to take them forever to get down the field that way.
Throws it. Perfect pass. Number 51 makes
Well.
the tackle at the 49-yard line.
They didn't go very far.
Right, because if they need 17 yards and they get 5, I'm okay with that.
Mark is
Yeah.
4th so far.
But anyway, that's why, you know, like sometimes I will play man lock, but sometimes I won't. And I
Do you
usually...
want me to call a timeout, or do you just
No, that's fine.
let him run it?
Yeah, that's fine. And usually, you know, just like you, if I play man lock, it's because I've already got somebody covering an extra zone too, right? But if I don't have somebody covering that extra zone, quite often I won't lock. I'd rather leave those corners out
He's
wide.
waiting for the fair catch.
Well, considering the lack of power that guy has, that wasn't a bad punt.
So they have first and 10.
I think he just doesn't have enough power.
Yeah.
Johnson.
See, and the reason that they're doing this is like because they can defend the run like that, right?
Perfect position to make a play.
You know, that's what it's all about. They want to stop the run. They want to stop the run dead. The only problem is when you work that hard at stopping the run dead, you know, like then that's when you're going to give up 300 yards passing in a game, right? And to be honest with you, I'd really much rather give up 150 yards on the ground than 300 yards passing any day.
Well, it's 24-0 at halftime, and all the second stringers are going to come out.
That's right. But they're going to have second stringers on their side, too. So I guess we'll take the halftime stretch.
Indeed. And we're back.
Yeah. And just looking at the halftime statistics, actually, the Nords didn't play that badly, except for one area, and that is where they allowed their quarterback to get sacked 7 times.
Wow, that's insane.
That's
I didn't
a lot
think
of,
it had been that much.
That's a lot of... Well, your left outside linebacker got 5 all by himself. And that was their biggest problem, I think.
No kidding.
Because otherwise, I mean, statistically, he didn't do too bad. He completed about 2/3 of his passes. Didn't throw any interceptions.
Yep.
Their receivers didn't only drop like 2 passes. You know, like they didn't play that badly. I just want to have a look and see who I've got here now. I've got Tommy Carter, who is not a scrambling quarterback.
That's right, but I think he has an arm at least.
Yeah, he's got decent throw power. Needs to work on his accuracy a little bit. And at halfback, well, I don't know that we'll notice very much of a difference between Johnson and Page.
I think Page is just less strong.
Well, and he's also a little less agile, a little bit less quick, right? A little bit less good at catching, but he does take better care of the ball. So, and of course we still have, we've got 2 fullbacks, so we got them changed places this time now.
Yep.
Shields and Rotolo change places. And then we've got the,
snail pace.
Yep. We've got the real scrubs at wide receiver now. I guess we'll let them play a little bit. Why not?
You know, last time you actually had to sub in the first string guys again.
Yeah, but that's because we were playing a real team too, though, right? You know, like I just couldn't do it with the guys that I had. But now, you never know. We might have an injury or something, and then we might need some of these guys to at least develop a little bit, right? Want to look at your guys before we start?
Sure.
What the hell?
I think their auto subs are a little screwed.
Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see.
So, looks like you got your backup defensive end in, and I can't really tell much of a difference between them.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this guy gets in. I think he has better acceleration.
Yeah. Yeah, which is important for a pass rusher.
And this guy, he's not going to replace Tiki Love anytime soon.
No.
But he does have, you know, I guess he's sufficient for the position. Green here is one of the guys that we worked on in preseason. So if he improves a bit, then maybe. But he's a little bit slower off the line. But I guess he can tackle pretty good. Then we've got Cardi at left outside linebacker, so I guess we're not going to be getting sacks anymore. And we've got Joyce at middle linebacker, so we're not going to have any more pass coverage. And then we've got Otto at right outside linebacker, and he's sufficient, but still not going to be great. We've got a 71 speed guy and an 89 speed guy. Hey, isn't that our first string guy?
Yeah, I think that he and the second string guy just traded places by the looks of it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they got subbed out at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then your safeties swapped. Not much difference between those two, though.
Yeah, it's really the Austin Seymour here that I want to develop.
Yeah.
Because he's a physically talented player, relatively speaking.
Yeah, well, everything's relative, right?
Yeah, what the hell was going on with their substitutions?
I don't know.
Well, their quarterback looks
really
reasonable.
weird.
Yeah, they just
they've
got nobody at right tackle.
Well, I guess they'll just
throw whoever in there.
They'll just wing it, I guess.
Their right tackles are so bad that they just don't want to put anyone in at that position.
Yeah, you'll see a line with one guy missing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they got sacked so much from that side, right? Because they got nobody there to play the position.
God.
They're probably putting whoever in there. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't sign a free agent or something to...
Well, I'm pretty sure that they have someone to put in there. They're just refusing to.
Yeah.
They've been solid.
Because that tends to be the weakest part of the line.
Well, they got everybody on the line now. Yeah.
Breaks the play up in the backfield. Feel what he has.
And that's why I audible to passes in situations where I really care, right?
Look for them to stack the line with the defenders as they try to slow down this.
Well, they certainly did that.
Thank you. That was Jill Arrington.
Because that 60 yards rushing that I got in the first half was completely unacceptable, right?
That's right.
Dropping back, looking downfield with the throw.
That wasn't even particularly on target.
No, but it was a linebacker covering him, right?
Wow.
He threw it right in there for the score.
Yeah, he threw that where only the receiver could
It almost feels like we're playing with unadjusted sliders. These guys are so bad.
Bomb. Yeah, well, it's the play calling, right?
Yeah, well, there's no reason you should have a
that was totally the play calling.
linebacker on that guy.
It's like 2nd and 13 or something because I lost like 3 yards on that run play.
Yep.
And they're crowding the line with 11 players, right? Why? Why do you play like that? And then they've got a linebacker trying to cover a wide receiver, which is absolutely stupid.
In fact, I think they had multiple linebackers trying to cover multiple wide receivers.
Yeah. And I mean, that guy's not even particularly fast, but he's faster than a cupcake linebacker. So he just plain outran him, right? And there's nothing fancy about that route either. That's just a...
It's just a corner.
That's just
standard corner.
just a standard corner route, right? Out of the box. Because really what I designed this play for is to try and, like draw the coverage down on this guy. And then I got one-on-one coverage there. And it worked like a charm.
And welcome back.
I don't think that would work against a better team, but...
Cupcake team.
They'll line up for the extra point.
And bad play calling.
Yeah, and really, what they could have done in Madden 06, instead of going in the direction that they went and, just sort of shotgunning a bunch of new crap out there and hoping that people would like it.
Yeah, like QB vision and then getting rid of play creation and...
Yeah, what they could have done instead was introduced a floating intelligence for the AI, where the AI would actually learn from the results on the field, right? So if they crowd the line with 11 guys and get burned for a 60-yard touchdown,
don't do that anymore.
They won't do that anymore, right? Like even less extreme things, like if they're steadily giving up yardage when they're playing man coverage, well, maybe they'll switch and start to play a little more zone defenses,
or if they run the toss play on first down and lose 7 yards.
Yeah, they won't do that again, right? That's what they needed, because you know what? A guy named Brian Brinkman managed to do that in 1988 all by himself. He created an AI system for a football game based on success or failure of plays in a sampling type of thing, right? And they could have done something like that here when they had an entire team to work on it.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, one more block and he would have easily...
And that would have made this game far better, even with the shortcomings that it has, like the animation-based suction blocks and all that kind of stuff. But
Wow, that's a fumble.
That looked exactly like the fumble that I showed at the beginning of this.
That got overturned, yeah.
We'll have to see if they challenge it. Maybe they're not going to.
Nope. Go figure.
But anyway, that's something that they really could have done is, they've got large enough playbooks with enough variety of plays in them that if what they're doing isn't working, then they have plenty of other things that they could try, right?
Good distance.
That's terrible distance.
Great distance. Well, he didn't really make it that much past the 20 anyways, so.
No.
They did in the first half, and they're going to come back.
Because he's probably dead slow.
Yeah, because you know what? A lot of the old DOS era football games, they weren't graphically fancy like this. And a lot of them were just a top-down view of a gridiron with like basically a football-shaped dot that showed you the field position. But the AI would actually learn and adjust its play based on whether or not what it was doing was working.
Yep.
That little crease or cutback lane to break free.
And he lets it slip out of his grasp, so he can't come up with it.
That's the old rule. If you get your hands on it, you got to catch it.
And that's the sort of thing that EA should have focused on, I think, rather than like all the nonsense that they got into, and then they continued to go further and further down that rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, with things like Ultimate Team eventually and other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure glad we had some defensive pass interference there.
Yeah, really.
Now, that was a missed tackle, too.
Yeah, that actually was a well-defended pass because he got his hands in there and contested it, right?
And then missed the tackle.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Give up a long bomb against the Cupcake team.
Hey, these guys just did.
Here's the catch. He signals for a fair catch.
These punts are so short I can't even get 5 steps.
Yeah.
It's 1st and 10.
But really, it's a shame that they didn't have a much different
See something in the defense.
outlook on this whole thing, right?
Sends a man in motion. He hands it off. Flowers with the stop at the 49. They went back to the run on that play.
That just goes to show you that the coach trusts the guy to hang on to the ball.
That first down marker is just inside the 46. Calling an audible now. This one is handed off. 40-yard line. Shields covered some.
Well, that's what happens, right? When you have the less talented running backs and stuff like that. Like Calvin Allen would have jumped over that guy, right?
Yep. But Shields just kind of stumbled into him.
Yeah, he tripped over the defender that was laying on the ground.
It's still a 10-yard plus run.
Yeah.
And he's there for fullback, not for halfback, so I guess it's fine.
In motion. Hand it off.
Good chip block there.
Yeah. That made that play, too. It made that play work.
They have to reach the 30 to convert.
Yeah, personally, I think Shields is a player with a lot of promise.
Calling an audible.
Well, we'll give him the ball again and see how he does. See, now they're starting to crowd the box again a little bit.
This one is handed off. Payne makes the
Well, that was more your offensive line than anything else.
Yeah, well, they have those, like failed blocks situations, and those are annoying, but what can you do?
They have to reach the 30 to convert.
See, I called a different play this time because I was thinking they might man lock right?
Gets rid of it, and it's caught. Flowers with the tackle at the 19. They convert.
And that play works pretty well against a man-lock defense.
Back to the field. And this is the 6th play of this drive. Inside the red zone.
Wow, I've only thrown 2 passes so far. Okay, well, you know what? Let's see what happens if I do
Williams
this.
comes in motion. Looking upfield. He shakes the defender. Big pop that time.
Boom! That is big-time football.
See, I don't have any speed at halfback, so there isn't really going to be much of an outside running game, right?
Calling an audible now. Directing
Well,
travel.
that's okay. You've got your outside running game right here.
Throws it.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
Look at
shit.
that.
Room to run.
I think that pass was a little off target, though.
Always knows where to be, and that time.
See?
Yeah, he threw it right at him.
You see the line? That actually is going behind the receiver, right? Like it was thrown behind him.
Yeah, that's just his 75 accuracy rating right there.
Yeah, exactly. Because the way this pass is, the way this play is run properly, that pass should have been going out to about where the blue circle is, right? That's the line it should have been going on. So that was the quarterback's fault there. His accuracy, right?
And we go back to the game.
Well, we'll see if we can get it back for you.
I'm not too worried about it.
Ready to go following the interception.
That guy isn't going to be playing very much this season if I can help it anyway.
Having no success running on first down.
Stuff like a turkey. I mean, less than 2 yards isn't very good.
Number 57 is the guy who's there to bring him down at the 32-yard line. And John is still trying to move the ball on the ground.
This is a tough physical team that likes to run the ball in just about any situation. When you can run the ball consistently, it really wears down the interior line and helps to slow down those pass rushers.
The backs are lined up in an I. Dropping back, closing in, throws over.
Wow, I'm sure glad that he managed to knock that down.
No one near that time. Now it's 3rd down after
Wow.
the completion.
He had 2 tries at it, actually.
That was an extremely overly aggressive play.
Yep.
The defense just dropped.
He really
the
didn't need to do
safeties
that.
into deeper coverage. Hard to explain this one. Drops back.
Oh.
Okay.
And he's tackled behind the line. Green gets to him in a.
Well, at least I got one this game.
The blocker that time. He's a big, strong man.
Yeah, well, you sack these guys a lot.
Now here's the punt unit as the defense forces a 3 and out.
Like I said, their offensive line is a mess.
Here's the punt. And he chooses not to return this one.
If I remember right, I had to juggle offensive line players around quite a bit just to get something that was usable, right? When I first started my Nords franchise.
That's usually how it goes with these cupcake teams.
Handed off to the back. Page couldn't escape the pursuit and was cut down quickly.
These guys up front are very tough to block because they can use their size and strength to get excellent leverage on running plays. Sometimes
Well, it's
they
been
struggle
kind of a
for
mixed third
consistency.
quarter then. Hey,
They
we
always
scored
seem
a
to be
touchdown
big
and then we
factor when the game's on the
also
line.
threw an interception.
Looking downfield, gets the pass off. No completion. Almost, but
I think he
no
dropped
catch.
that
It's
one.
got to be a little disappointing. He's been putting in a lot of extra time at practice catching balls. But it looks like he's really having a tough time keeping his concentration out there.
Well, I guess maybe we'll see if we can throw a slant.
Page goes in motion.
Might be able to, because if they're playing the type of zone that I think they might be playing, they're going to drop that nickel guy into the flat, right?
Looking for an option.
Just like that. Oh, wow, that was a terrible throw.
Did you jump backwards during that one?
Well, I know I came to a stop.
Yeah, you accidentally pressed the button in the wrong order.
I pressed the button and the down at the wrong order because I was trying to lead it
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would come under the pass coverage.
Well, actually, I was worried about this guy here, right? I wanted to make sure it would get past him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're back.
But
that's okay. These things happen.
Very solid defensive effort to force the 3 and out.
I guess we got the unlucky long bomb touchdown, and then we're coming back down to earth now.
Well, maybe he'll get another one. Help his quarterback rating even more.
Fair catch.
Well, we just kicked the touchback.
Got some taunting going on the field there.
Yeah, really, eh?
It's 1st and 10. The corners are backing off.
See, if we were to do the Cupcake League thing, we'd have to do like 5-minute quarters probably, though, because otherwise the scores would be silly, right?
I don't know. Would they be silly, or would the offenses on these teams be so bad that they wouldn't be able to score against each other?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Because there's always that possibility, too.
I suppose, yeah.
Drops back. Pressure coming. With the throw. And he hits his target. Number 81 catches a floater for the first down.
Wow, they gave him a first down for that?
Yeah, that was generous, wasn't it?
Sherwood moves in motion. Pressure. Throws out to the left. Swings it out to the left.
Yeah, we were playing a curl flat on that side.
Yep. Oh well, that's just the fullback. He's not going to run the length of the field on you anyway. As far as Cupcake players go, he's okay, but he's not going to, he's not a quick strike player, right?
Yep.
Incomplete pass. Clemens made a great defensive play, tipping the pass away.
That's just great positioning by the defender.
See, that's something too that they could. When I was talking about creating some kind of floating AI intelligence, is don't throw the ball 90% of the time on 3rd down and 1 yard or less, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm lining up out there in the dime.
Like 90% of the time, they should be just jamming it down the middle to try and get a yard.
Well, especially against the dime, and especially when they have 2 tight ends out there.
Well, the thing is, though, you wouldn't be putting a dime out there on 3rd down and inches if they didn't pass 90% of the time, right?
Here's the punt.
Yeah, that's right.
If they ran even 3/4 of the time, then it would be different, right?
It would almost always be a nickel.
You'd have to actually respect the run then, right? But that's something that is what I view as a problem with this game too, is that you don't have to respect the run really in this one. Like mainly, I guess the thing that I do to respect the run is I just make sure I have enough players within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage to engage all the offensive linemen so that you don't have an offensive lineman escape downfield and block out your safeties, right? Because that's how big plays are created on the ground in this game. But other than that, I'm basically playing a pass defense full time.
Yeah.
Because they don't run the ball enough for me to have to feel like I have to respect it.
A little over 4 to go. Here's a look at the 3rd down success rate of each team.
3rd down conversions is a keeper stat.
Well, let's go with a little bit easier pass for this guy to throw. Right? You got to call a play that's within the abilities of the player that you got out there, too.
Gets the pass off, and he makes the grab. Hutchinson gets stopped short of the sticks on that play. Nothing happening for the offense there, forced into a 3 and out.
Let's see if this guy can actually kick the ball 30 yards like this.
Not much hang time on this one.
Well, it bounced at 20. I got just about 35 yards out of that.
So they have 1st and 10 here.
But it's funny, even with the run blocking for the AI turned up to 16,
Number 20.
and they do have a little bit of success at it every now and then. They still, like in this game, even their pass to run was like 2-1 in the first half. Right?
He just exploded towards the marker that time. That was a big-time run.
The corners playing off a bit.
That's pretty rough too when you get off your guy, but then you just aren't fast enough to actually make the tackle on the running back.
Yeah.
They'll pass on 1st down. Closing in with the throw.
But see that they had a successful run play there, and then instead of going back there again, they go to the air again right away, right?
I mean, in all fairness, though, they are down by 38 points.
I know, but it's an exhibition game. I mean, and in the first half, if they would have at least had a relatively equal run-to-pass ratio, then, like, this game would be different, right?
What it did was make the quarterback adjust his throw, and it messed up his rhythm.
Sure, John. We'll go with that.
Pressure with the pass. The pass ball's incomplete. He's having a tough time getting.
Well, now they're just going to have the first season cupcake drop factor out there.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, like in the first half, the starter made 20 pass attempts in addition to the 7 sacks, right? So you could say he dropped back to pass 27 times, right?
Yep.
But they only ran the ball like 11 times. So it was almost 3-1 in favor of the pass, right?
1st and 10.
And yet, the running back there, Vargas, was averaging like 4.5 yards per carry for the few times that he did get to touch the ball, right?
Flowers makes the tackle at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, I don't really notice very much difference between this guy and our starter. They're so similar to one another that it's almost like having the same player out there.
I think the starter's a little bit more agile, and I think also this guy's not quite as good at breaking tackles, and he's not quite as strong. So like if he comes up against a big, strong safety, he'd probably get flattened, but he won't fumble the ball because he's got really good carrying rating. He's actually got a better carrying rating than the starter.
Throws on the move, and he makes the grab. The 40. Reynolds makes the play at the 35.
Yeah, I think the fullback passing game is going to be a big thing this season too.
Yeah, it would seem so, huh?
Well, both of these guys can do this, right?
Yep.
It doesn't matter which one is doing what.
He'll get it out of there pretty quickly.
Calling an audible now.
Run a run play here, run the third quarter out. Again, though, they're playing what I consider to be a sensible defense there, right? Like they limited the gain to 5 yards. They didn't absolutely crush it for a loss, but they only gave up 5 yards, and they didn't give up a pass for 20.
And you're probably outside of field goal range.
Well, I mean, it's 2nd and 5, but now I've got to try and do something else, right?
Yep.
If they can limit you to around 5 yards per play, sooner or later something will go wrong, too, right? Because the more plays you run, the more chances are that something is going to break down, right? Like you'll have a receiver drop the ball or, something else like that, right? Again, like what they're doing here, I think, is the right idea, right?
24. Nice run. Picks up the 1st down.
And it was well executed. They hit their blocks, and the back found the right hole to get down the field and pick up a 1st down.
Carter sends a man in motion.
Oh, there. See? That's good. Good job there. AI play caller type guy.
Hand it off.
Why? Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
I have a feeling that one's probably for real a fumble, too.
Challenge it.
I'll challenge it, but yeah.
The coach has decided to take advantage of his ability to challenge a bad call right here.
Yeah, the NFL wanted to make sure that there was never any questionable calls that determine
Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
That's why they put the rule.
But you see what I mean, though, right? They're playing zone defense. They're leaving the corners out wide. They're leaving the safeties back. And even if you leave those safeties back, you're only giving up 3 or 4 yards before they get up to help with the play anyway, right? You know, you don't have to stop every run play behind the line of scrimmage to be a successful defense. Yeah.
See, that's our high carrying rating guy, too.
Yeah. Well, he did get clotheslined. I mean,
Well, after taking
Yo.
a long look at the replay,
I think they almost had to carry him off the field after that one.
He can fumble it when he's dead.
the corners
Yeah.
are playing back.
Well, like I said, I'm not too worried about what happens in this game because I think we've already got enough points to win it
Under
anyway.
pressure, he reaches the quarterback.
And you're going to
Good
keep
play.
mugging the quarterback
Linebacker
back there.
bursts through and gets the sack.
He's always had the uncanny ability to have success in flip, especially when the other
I'm
team
not
is
actually sure what they were doing there, actually. In terms of pass rows, I guess they had 3 guys out there, but it was like all crisscrossing.
Yeah, they're
So let's
all in
pick
the
up
middle.
action. Langer from the shotgun. Gets rid of it. He hits his receiver. Floyd makes
And now
the
they're going to
tackle
get a
at the
holding penalty.
22-yard line. Appeared to be a hold on that play.
Some of these guys wear jerseys 2 sizes too
But you know
small.
what? That was
They
a
tape them to their
successful
pads to
defensive
prevent that kind of thing.
series for them, right? They
Quarterback
stopped me
back
from
in shotgun.
scoring. They got the ball back.
And he just can't hang on.
I mean,
And
the
that
problems that
finish
they're
is
experiencing
right
right now
there,
is
but
mainly
couldn't
because of their offense,
He did a
right?
nice job of getting in position.
Yeah,
and
well, our
giving the
defense isn't
quarterback a good
particularly
target.
good. We know that our
Couldn't get
second
it
string
under
defense
control.
is rather awful, actually.
Yeah.
Number 20, the lone back, dropping back, closing in. The protection breaks
Oh.
that, and he's sacked. What a tremendous
There you got
individual
2 now.
effort by the defensive lineman.
That's the kind
Well,
of
I'm trying to
defensive
develop
player
that guy.
you build a team
Yeah,
around.
well, you know what?
Having a
We
guy
got 2
like that
sacks
up
in this
front
game.
allows you to
Keeps
drop
playing like
7 or
that.
8 guys
He'll
back in
develop.
coverage and still get a pass rush.
Here's the kick.
What are you doing?
He didn't even try to catch that. I thought he was at least going to try to catch it.
Yeah, wow. I was having visions of it hitting him in the back and then getting away, right?
1st and 10.
Because he didn't even turn around to face it. Like, it basically just hit the ground next to him.
Page, the back breaking free. He can't wrap him up. Missed tackle. Big
The long
block
run
that
to make
time.
up for the fumble.
That is big
Well, you know
time
what?
football.
When that happens to a running back, you got to give the ball back to him right away
1st and 10 here.
and give him a chance to get some success. There, see, now I like this alignment too, right?
He sees something in the defense.
Because they're presenting a wide front,
Tola. Payne with the
and I'm not going to
tackle
run
at the
around them to
34.
either side, right?
83.
So I basically have to take it up the middle, and it limits the gain.
7 yards to go.
Now this, I don't think, is called for at all, right?
Best possible play call they could ever make, obviously.
Throws it.
Aw.
And he lets it slip out of his grasp. Good job finding some room. I thought he was going to bring
Well,
that
you know
one
what?
down.
There, that was a, you know, they were giving that pass up. The receiver just didn't catch it, right?
The visiting team come out in a nickel package. Surveying the field. Gets the pass off.
Oh.
And couldn't come up with it. 2 in a row just dropped.
That's just
Well, I guess
a
we'll be trying to
frustrating
get it
thing to have
inside the 20 then.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to try a field goal from here. I'd I wouldn't even be able to make it to the goal line, I don't think.
Number 43 sets up, waiting for the punt. This one is shallow and short.
Oh, it hit them. Right? It hit the cover. It hit the receiving guy.
And now Shields has a touchdown.
Wow.
One guy can't do it all, and that's why the whole return team should get the credit.
They're talking about it as if it's a punt
Yeah,
return for a touchdown.
yeah, they're talking about it as if it's a punt return for a touchdown. Yep.
Oh, God.
Cook comes in for the extra point. And it's on its way. The extra point attempt is good. The home team continue to increase.
Well, we're
lead.
better than a
The
cupcake
home
team. I
are
think
lined
it's
up
safe
for
to
the
say
kickoff.
that, at least.
Not a bad kick. They'll set up for the return.
That's as far as that guy can kick it. I think I got almost 100 power on that.
The visiting team will start this drive from the 19. Ball on their own 19.
Well, let's see what we can do defensively.
Only one man back. And he gets the delayed handoff. Williams makes the tackle at the 21-yard line. Gain of 2.
Yeah, I think somebody had man coverage on him there.
Out of the shotgun. Langer sends it in motion. Pressure coming. Incomplete. The pass was a little underthrown.
Sometimes you just hang on to the ball for a second too long.
Yeah, that's totally what that was, John.
See, that's another thing they could have done too in the next year.
The quarterback lines
Is
up
you
with
know
two
how
backs
these
behind
guys, when you man lock and they kind of like slowly jog toward the guy that they're supposed to be covering.
Wow, that was awful coverage.
Yeah, like they should hustle into position, right? You know what I mean? Like they should be putting a little speed on to get in the right position before the play starts. That's why you end up with players out of position sometimes when the offense snaps the ball, right?
Tosses it out to the right. Seymour is the guy who's there to bring him down at the 44.
Now another tackle for Seymour isn't a bad thing.
This is the third play of this drive. 5 yards to go. The corners
Yeah, well, you know what? They can run the ball a little bit if they try. They just didn't make much of an effort at it in the first half, and now it's too late, right?
He hits his receiver.
We are definitely having coverage problems on that side.
Yeah, well, you don't have anybody good out there right now.
Number 20. Taylor pulls him down at the 36-yard line.
But again, though, this could be another one of those drives where they look good for a while, and then something will go wrong and the wheels will fall off, right?
Could be.
Well, it seems to be what happens to these guys.
Number 3.
And there it is, right? They looked like they were going to do something, and now suddenly it's 3rd and 9, and you can put the pressure on, right?
And he just made it look simple.
Langer from the shotgun gets the pass off,
and that's it for them.
Good read by the
I love that he just gets hit again and again.
That's a little surprising.
So these cupcake quarterbacks, they must be real tough.
Yeah.
Working on mechanics and their technique. He told me that he's seen a big improvement. But a big drop on 3rd down like that shows that they still need a little more work.
Here's the punt. Fair catch.
Well, here we go again.
So they have 1st and 10 here.
Check 2. Check 2. Silver 19. Hot.
Tucks it away. The 30.
Wow, look at this run. This guy doesn't have any speed.
Nope. But he has enough if the blocking sets up, right? And this is the same pattern. You can see this out of the wishbone sometimes. If you see
the double block, yeah,
double block like this, then
it's going to be a big gain.
If you can run between those two guys, it's going to be a big gain, right? And you can tell if that's going to set up. But that's also a tight end and a fullback. There's no offensive lineman out here, right?
Yep.
You know, like there's none of that downfield offensive lineman blocking bullshit going on. Like the left tackle picks up that linebacker and the guard picks up the defensive lineman there.
Yep.
You know, like everybody did what they were supposed to do on this play, even if a couple of them got pushed backwards a little bit, right?
Or a lot.
Or a
Back
lot.
to the game.
But that's why we run to the left.
It's 1st and 10.
But that's what should happen on run blocking, right? Offensive linemen should have the priority to block
Looks like he's calling
defensive
an audible.
linemen and linebackers, right? Like those are the guys that they should be looking for. They shouldn't be letting those guys go unblocked so that they can get downfield
Looking for room. Williams stops him.
and you know, like
1
block
yard gain
out
on
a
that
safety
play.
or something, because to me that's a cheap and dirty way to try and simulate a big play on the ground, right?
Yep.
9 yards to go.
They should have worked a little harder at it. Or maybe just kept the run blocking that they had in Madden 04, which worked perfectly well.
Hand it off to the fullback. They'll bring him down.
Holding.
At the 49. Penalty marker down.
Well, I'm trying to run the clock out, but they won't let me.
Jersey there.
It's now 2nd and long after the penalty. They come out in the nickel. Looks like he's changing the play.
Cowboy up. Black 28.
Well, let's see if this guy can throw a flat pass this time around.
With the pass.
Yep.
There, see, he threw it to the outside where it's supposed to go.
He makes the catch, but they'll be short of the first by about a yard or so.
He's really great at working back to the ball. When a pass play breaks down, you can count on him coming back to help you out.
And of course, I'm going to pass on 3rd down and short.
So you can get another
Because-
drop.
Because you can't run on 3rd and short in this game, right?
Set. Hold him now.
Hey,
Like
here
almost
comes in
always,
motion.
if I found if I try to run, come on, get out there.
They know.
If I try to run any kind of run play on 3rd and short, I get stuffed, right?
He's looking under
Uh-oh.
pressure. Throwing
I got
short to
lost
the
back
right
there.
side. Quarterback getting up
Got your
a
buttons
little
all mixed
slowly
up?
after that play.
This defense
Yeah, I should have
really
thrown to
likes
the guy
keep
running out to
pressure
the
on
flat
passer.
too. He was wide
They
open,
bull
right?
rush, they
But
speed rush,
I didn't
they
see him
switch from
until
the
the last
outside,
second.
all in an attempt to create turnover opportunities in the secondary. The
But they were
offensive
bringing
line
a
needs to do
blitz
a
there
better
too,
job
and what happens is
holding
they
on
bring
their
a
block,
blitz
giving
like they
a
bring
little extra
2 or
time in
even
the
3
pocket
extra
that the
guys on
quarterback needs.
3rd and short, right?
Yep.
All the time. So you can't run on 3rd and short
Very
because
shallow punt.
they're bringing everybody, and
Yeah, just stuff it up the middle.
I found even lots of times there I'll get no gain or a loss of a yard if I try and go straight up the middle against them on 3rd and short too.
Well,
That's why I run, or why I pass the ball 90% of the time in that situation.
I always run the ball.
Number 20, the lone setback.
Yeah, but you run the
Sends a
ball
man
in
in
3rd
motion.
down and 16 though.
That's right. And it works.
Number 20. Stop behind the line, loss of a couple. Number 20. Couldn't pick up any blocking on that play.
The defense
Hey
is
man,
always
at least
very
my run
aggressive
game
when
isn't like the
defending
Madden
run.
12 run game.
Extremely disciplined.
No.
They get off their blocks very quickly. Makes it tough to find openings when you're running the ball.
Flings it to
Oh,
the outside.
wow.
This pass is incomplete.
Ball
He almost
ping
got
pongs
through it
around in
this
there.
time.
Taking shots like that will really affect his rhythm with his receivers.
The corners are giving a bit of a cushion.
Yeah, I was really hoping I'd gotten a sack there, but I didn't.
Give him nothing. Don't give him nothing.
Langer starts out of the shotgun, surveying the field. Gets rid of it. Great pass.
Well, they got a little further away
Find a
from the
way to
goal
get
line
past the
anyway.
marker. So the lineup
Wow, he's got a
five going
51-yard
3 and out.
punt today.
Here's the kick. And he chooses not
I think
to
it was one
return
of
this
these.
Yeah. Well, not that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, but anyways, we will pause for a quick second here.
All right.
And we're back.
We'll
Yes.
go back to the play on
And
the
so
field.
far, our backup quarterback, even though it
First and
feels like he's been struggling, hasn't got that bad of a day here for quarterback rating. even though he's only completed like 40% of his passes.
The offensive line didn't get much of a push on that play, and the runner is stuck.
As soon as he got the ball, there was a defender in his face that knocked him down.
The lead to get the ball inside the 24 to convert for a first down.
Okay, well.
Set.
Carter sends a man in motion.
Oh, here comes that safety again, huh?
Yep.
Stick 'em. Stick 'em. Roger. Roger. Fire out. Hut.
Throws it. And it's caught. Bruce makes the play at the 28.
Well, 3rd and 3 is easy enough to convert.
The lead to get the ball inside the 24 to convert for a first down.
Stretch. Stretch. Set.
Well, looks like I can try and throw to the tight end in the flat there this time around anyway.
Robber. Robber. Drill. Drill. Switch it. Come on. Hut.
Looking for an
Four.
option on the move.
Oh.
And he can't
See, they
make it.
had the corner
Tight end
down
was
playing the
right
flat
there,
on
but
that
he just
side.
couldn't get that
Yep.
pass under control.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I don't know. What do you think? Should I try a field goal from here?
I don't think you can make one from here, but okay.
Well, it's definitely at the outside edge of his range, that's for sure.
This is going to be about a 45-yard field goal attempt.
But we'll try. Not a bad kick.
And it's up.
Well, I guess you can.
The
Yeah,
kick
he made
is
it.
good. The home team have it all working now as they continue to expand their lead. The home team are set to kick it deep.
Well, that'll help him develop some.
Yeah.
I guess with his kick power, he can probably kick him out to the 30.
Yeah,
Kicks it
possibly.
off.
I don't think I'd want to try too many from that far away,
From the
though.
9-yard line.
Yeah, well, the ball was already starting to come down at the 28, right?
3 and out
Yep.
on the last series.
And it falls pretty quick.
2-minute warning coming up. The corners playing back.
Watch the draw. Watch the draw. Check two.
Langer will work out of the shotgun. Langer sends a man in motion. Throwing on first down. With the pass, Clemens takes him down.
I love that. The defensive end gets in on the action.
Yeah.
Almost at the 2-minute mark now. Giving some cushion on the outside.
You know what? I'm still going to come out there in the dime.
2 minutes to the final gun.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing much running.
Raise that two.
The backs are lined up in an eye.
Hut, hut. Hut, hut. Hut, hut.
Closing in. Lose yardage on that tackle.
Well, that's a sack.
Yeah.
Backing off.
He got cut blocked and fell right into him.
Pass, pass.
Pressure coming. It's batted away. Time
That
is
was almost a
working
fumble.
against them.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to
almost.
keep going to the air, but it might be a little too late.
Well, you roughed up their quarterbacks pretty good today. I think you got at least
Once in a while,
12 sacks in this
comes the
game.
punter. Here's the punt.
Yeah, and with some fairly
He's
slow
waiting
players
for
at
the fair
that.
catch.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, but you know what I've discovered over the years playing this game? You don't always need... Why have I got a number 89 at halfback there?
Oh, because that guy's a converted. He's your
right.
second string halfback,
Okay.
and he's converted.
Oh, all right.
Right.
But anyway, like I was saying, you don't always necessarily need a fast player coming from the
Carter with
outside,
a man in motion.
so long as he either can overcome the blocking or doesn't have to beat a blocker, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Page there, we actually converted from wide receiver to halfback because he was a wide receiver who had a really high carrying rating of 71
Oh, okay.
who couldn't catch at all.
Set. Goal. 28.
And then we converted Shields from halfback to fullback because he was 245 pounds. It's like, well, yeah, a guy that size probably should play fullback.
Well, let's see if we can get Carter here another completion
Mike, cover, Mike.
to a guy in a purple jersey.
Dropping back, throws it. He finds his man.
Yep.
Farr makes the catch, but doesn't get
To
very
Farr,
far.
Mr.
That's what the
Farr.
mark of a solid defense is. They close in on you in a hurry, and they don't miss tackle.
They'll have to get the ball inside the 37 in order to convert.
Set. Silver. 19. Yeah, we dominate today.
Yeah, no, I don't think you did.
He's just taking a few too many hits to the head.
Yeah, that's that post-concussion syndrome talking there.
Watch the gap. Watch the gap. Time to get off the field, D. Let's go. Come on, baby. Let's get him. Hot.
Gets the pass off, and he makes the grab. The home team get the first down.
Okay,
again
I
after
think
being
that will
faced
do.
with 3rd and a mile for the 2nd time on this drive.
I mean, 3rd and a mile.
Hey, anything
There's
longer
something
than
wrong with Al.
anything longer than 3rd and inches is 3rd and a mile.
Like,
right?
they've got the fucking cloud of smoke coming out of the observation box up there.
Yeah.
Right? Something's smelling skunky up there.
This is Al Michaels with John Madden saying goodbye for EA Sports.
Yeah, and we didn't actually hear John say very much in the 4th quarter. Maybe he was asleep.
Yeah, he was a bit busy, huh?
Well, you know what? I know I'd be sleeping if I was sitting watching this game in the 4th quarter. Like, it was pretty much a snoozer. We definitely gave these guys a beating. So there we go. They didn't do very much, but I think they would have had more passing yards, but you sacked them like 11 or 12 times in this game, right?
Yep.
So they probably lost close to 70 yards of passing yardage due to sacks.
Probably.
And we both turned the ball over twice, and look at the time of possession, right? So there we go. Tommy Carter is 8 of 16, so he managed to get to 50%, but he did throw the 71-yard touchdown pass.
Well, and that helped his rating, too. He's got up to 77.8.
Yep. And then Page, actually our second-string halfback there, did pretty well running the ball, hey?
Yep.
And there's our first-string guy. He didn't do too bad either. In fact, pretty well everybody had good success running the ball today.
Cupcake defense.
Yep. Well, I ran the ball like 33 times. And I passed 36 times, so there you go. And so Mr. Hutchinson there, the tight end, caught most of the passes. Or the most passes, anyway. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 drop passes in this game. Then I didn't throw as many passes in this game as I did in the first one either. And then Sheldon Edwards caught 1 pass for 71 yards and a touchdown. I'm not sure who Sheldon Edwards is and how he fits in with the scheme of things, but he caught a long touchdown pass. So it looks like cornerback Jimmy Falk must have been on the kickoff coverage or something. So there's a whole bunch of guys with 5 tackles. Linebacker in there with that group. So 5, 8, 10, 11, 12. So you sacked them 12 times.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah. And you only had 5 pass deflections.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah. Got 2 fumble recoveries, one by Shields and one by Otto. And of course, Shields scored the touchdown, and that was on that mishandled punt.
Yep.
I don't know if it was even mishandled, though. I don't think that guy was supposed to be a punt returner. I think he was supposed to be a blocker, and it just hit him. Like it hit him in the back or something.
It might have. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it looked to me like. That happens every now and then. So let's see how the Nords did. So Langer not so well, but Phillips actually statistically didn't play that badly. He completed 64% of his passes.
How many times did he get sacked, though?
He got sacked like 7 times, but you can't put that on the quarterback, right? Like I said, their offensive line is a mess, right? You're not going to sack most other teams 12 times in a single game.
This season.
This season, anyway. And they did have some, okay success, I guess, running the ball when they did choose to run it. They just didn't do that very much, right? And they ended up with a lot more drop passes in the second half. They only had like 2 drop passes in the first half. But their second string players, I guess, can't catch. And look at this guy. Their free safety had 14 tackles.
He was keeping himself busy out there, that's for sure.
Well, it just goes to show you how things were going for me on offense, I guess.
Yeah, he was probably the last man back all the time.
Yeah, he was probably the last man back all the time. And actually, Flowers is not gifted with an extreme amount of speed, but he is actually a decent tackler. So anyway, it's the end of the game, and the player of the game is Kenny Otto, who recovered the fumble for the touchdown on the punt return.
And got 3 tackles. No,
And he also,
that one was a sack fumble, I think.
Oh, is that? No, he... okay.
Yeah, that one was a sack fumble.
Well, anyway, he also got a touchdown. But anyway, I guess that was it for that game. I'm not sure who we're up against next, but I think it'll probably be somebody better than the Nords.
Probably.
Who I predict will go winless this season. Anyway, I guess we'll find out who we're playing next time. Until then,
I'm RecV5.
and I am Sandman99.
Have a good one.